G'day everyone, how you doing? Now let me tell you, I certainly would never have thought only a few weeks ago that I'd be doing a kids talk out in the middle of a paddock while social isolating and without a kid anywhere to be seen, not anywhere in sight. In fact, I think the nearest person to me at the moment would be about 4 kilometres away from where I am. And it made me think, that if we were back at Christmas time, we were opening up our gifts, and if one of our gifts would have been a time machine, whether it was, say, the DeLorean out of Back to the Future, or maybe if it was the TARDIS from Doctor Who, and we would have said, oh, I've got a time machine, I'm going to jump ahead into the future, and I'm just going to go ahead, just maybe 4 months to see what the world looks like in 4 months' time. So I jump into my time machine, and I head forward for 4 months, and I hop out, and I'm in Loxton. And I walk around, I look, and actually nothing looks much different in Loxton, except there's not too many people that seem to be about. And then you see someone that you recognise, and so you go rushing up to that person out in the middle of nowhere in Loxton, the lonely person in Loxton, and you go up to them and you rush up to give them a hug, and they recoil and say, you can't hug me. And you ask them why, and they say, where have you been? And then they tell you these stories about how apparently there's been a global pandemic. And you think, what on earth are they on about? And then they go on to tell you that all the churches are closed. Hardly anyone's going to school anymore. The fact that you can't have more than 10 people together in a place. And you think, how can that possibly be? I don't believe it. I don't believe it at all. And then if they went on to tell you that there's no AFL football anymore, that the Olympics have been cancelled, that we all have to keep 1.5 metres away from each other, that you can only go out to get to do things that are essential, that the whole world seems to be running out of toilet paper and hand sanitizer and minced meat, and you think, I don't believe it. Can't possibly be happening. And then you hear that you can't go to Victoria without having a note to say why it is you need to go. And there doesn't seem to be any planes flying anymore. And you say, it can't possibly be true. I'll see it when I believe it. It can't possibly be happening. Could the world change that much in such a short period of time? Which makes us think a little bit about the whole story in the Bible reading today about Thomas. Because as we know, Jesus rose from the dead. And he appeared to his disciples, or to all of them, and they were just blown away because they couldn't possibly believe it. But there was one disciple that was missing, and that was Thomas. And then when they went and told Thomas all about it, he didn't believe it. He said, that's just not possible. You can't just rise from the dead. The world can't change that much. I don't believe it's possible. But then a few days later, Jesus appeared to them again. And this time Thomas was with them. And so Jesus approached him and said, touch my hands, touch my feet. And Thomas did. And then he believed. And Jesus said to him something along the lines of, blessed are those who actually believe without seeing. Because that's what faith is all about having trust and faith in our God. And as we're going through, pretty uncertain times just at the moment, we really don't fully know what this whole pandemic means. We don't fully know when it's going to end. We don't know when we can go and hug people again the way we have in the past. We don't know when we can all meet together in a worship service like we have in the past at St. Peter's. We don't know when the footy's going to be coming back on. We don't know when we can go flying again. It's such an uncertain world. And the message that Jesus gives us today is that, in that uncertainty, have faith in me. You may not be able to see me like Thomas didn't see him right for a start, but I am still here for you, and I'll be with you through this whole pandemic. And I'm still here because you can still hear me through my words that I speak to you through the Bible. You can still experience worship, which we're doing in a really unique way, where we're still meeting together with each other, and we can still experience Jesus in our hearts through the Holy Spirit, because faith is through believing without always seeing. But we know that Jesus is with us through this pandemic, and that's the really exciting news for us here today. So I'm going to go keep on self-isolating out here in the middle of nowhere, and I for one am really looking forward to us all meeting back in the flesh in St. Peter's in the near future. Bye for now.